maybe this is a bit too glossed up, because there's an earlier part to this, and it's more about preparation and starting a trip that ended in failure more or less after 2 days. Yeah, so show that, I guess, and then we can go back to the regular trip more or less. So after my trip to France in the summer of the previous year, you can find a link to the video in the top corner if you haven't seen that so far. I set about preparing my Puch for this trip, which included getting some custom-made parts. By the way, thank you to the person who made those parts, you know who you are. And yes, more or less fixing all the mistakes from last time, and that was more or less it. So, dann schauen wir uns jetzt, wie lang geht. Oder nicht. So after that was done, I took a few more months and I finally was able to set off and say my goodbyes. And for the first day, it was actually a really nice trip. Until I started hearing some weird noises, losing power, and just after this clip, nothing moved anymore. The engine was seized. So I had to get it towed back home, took the engine out and realized my crankshaft was blown. So I had to get that repaired and afterwards fitted into the engine. It should now work again. So now we can continue with the normal program. All in all, it took about 1 month until I was ready to set off again. But that's where we are right now, and let's continue with that new, improved Puch engine. So this time I traveled more or less down Italy. I traveled through the hills of the Toscana, all the way via the Lago di Bolsena, which is really nice by the way, to Rome. And in Rome I prepared my luggage and the bike and drove my bike to the cargo terminal to drop it off. And from that moment on, we were separated. I had to go back by foot from the airport because I didn't have anything and I'm too cheap to take a taxi. So yeah, so let's pick up next time when we reach our new destination. Also, this is a shameless plug, but if you're interested in owning your own piece of Maxi Touring merch, I know it's a bit wrinkly, but it's my own design. It's available on my website or in a link I'll put down in the comments below. Furthermore, if you're interested in supporting otherwise, there's a link to buy me a coffee, which is similar to Patreon. It's just not like the monthly or continuous thing. It's just you can make a one-time donation more or less to the channel and buy me a coffee or a beer. You can even leave a comment, and yeah, that's more or less it for now. I am on the road, as you can probably see, and I don't know when the next video will be ready, but I am working on it, so stay tuned.